Without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce our first speaker. And we do something a little bit different here at Fuckup Nights. I'm not going to read out a boring bio. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to tell you 3 fun facts about our first speaker. So he is the third of 5 children. So family-style meals make him uncomfortable and sometimes overly aggressive. He majored in Renaissance literature, but has the spelling ability of a 3rd grader, and Grammarly legitimizes him as a human being. And in his prime, he won not 1, but 2 Lord of the Rings trivia challenges. Wow, that's impressive. David, come on up here and share your fuck up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. When Marsha reached out to me on LinkedIn, she sent a message. She's like, hey, you want to come speak at Fuckup Nights? And I was convinced there was an insult in there somewhere. You know, I started looking for it, and truthfully, there wasn't one. I started doing some research on Fuckup Nights. I hadn't been to one. And it is a global endeavor. Like, they've done an incredible job. And I start watching some of the talks, and I'm thoroughly inspired by the people that have been speaking at Fuckup Nights. So thank you for bringing this to Toronto. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, everybody. So I kind of wanted to say, so I fucked up, clearly. I did call it a fucked up life. I thought it was Fucked Up Nights. I also didn't bring my Christmas sweater, so I'm off to a good roll. But basically, my life has really been one series of fuck-ups after another. But the way I look at fuck-ups and the way I think everybody here today and everybody who has spoken is that there doesn't necessarily need to be a negative connotation to a fuck-up or a mistake or a failure. The people that kind of continue on are thinking maybe a fuck-up is an opportunity. And, you know, I challenge everybody here to, to think in that sense that a fuck-up is an opportunity. For me, there's a couple of types of opportunities. One, a fuck-up is an opportunity to not do this again. It just means I'm no longer going to run this experiment. I'm not going to think about this anymore. It clearly didn't work. Or 2, if I've done this before and it keeps happening, maybe I shouldn't continue doing this. Maybe I am not the best at this thing I keep fucking up. Maybe I should focus on doing what I'm good at. So here's just a simple graph that kind of exemplifies the journey to where we are today. Settar, fantastic Canadian company, 45 people. I think they're the best people in Canada. We're backed by Sequoia Capital and NFX, so they're amazing. We're very lucky, very blessed. But in the beginning, every time I would make a big mistake, it would drastically affect my life. I'd think about it, I'd beat myself up about it. But then on the journey from like starting the company to kind of where we are today, you'll kind of see the growth pattern is like, it affects my life less and less. I expect it, and the trajectory is still, moving forward. It's kind of the intention. It's how we get to where we are. I'm going to tell you the story of a bunch of fuck-ups that kind of got me here. So number 1, I clearly suck at interviews. I wanted to get into the restaurant business. I loved restaurants. I was like, let's go work at a restaurant. No problem. I submitted for Montana's and I got an interview. I thought it went well. I didn't get hired. The truth is, it's actually the only formal interview I've ever had. So I'm awful at interviews. I hope Settar goes well, because I'm probably not going to get another job. Another mistake I had made was I never wanted to go to university. I was never going to be a lawyer or an accountant or a doctor. And I thought to myself, college, sure, university, never. Like Marsha said, somehow I ended up here today with an HBA in Renaissance literature. Entirely useless, but it just goes to show the plan didn't work out as expected. Another plan that I have that didn't work out as expected is I wanted to be a real estate baron. I wanted to be a baron. Like, I was just going to go big or go home. So I really loved the idea of acquiring a lot of real estate and then living off a passive income. I was like, oh my God, all you need to do is just get a bunch of real estate. It's a no-brainer. Get a bunch of, well, he did it, why can't I? So, I could wind up as the president. It's the path to success, real estate barons. So I was like, okay, how do I do that? Well, I need to buy a house. So I called this guy in 2003. This is Andrew Black. He's my ex-business partner. Yep. So I was like, Andrew, you're the only guy I've known my whole life who's had a job. You have some money. I have some money. We're 23. Let's just fucking buy a house. It's not hard. Let's buy a house. So we decided in 2003 to buy a house in this neighborhood called Queen and Ossington. In 2003, Queen and Ossington was not a nice neighborhood. Our families were like, are you guys nuts? And we're like, we know what we're doing. We have no clue what we're doing. And then Andrew and I are like, okay, we just need to do a quick reno. We'll flip the house. We'll then buy 2 houses. We'll do it again. Then we'll buy 4. Like, oh my God, we're going to be real estate barons in literally no time. That didn't happen at all. Andrew and I made our first and most significant mistake in business. We fell in love with the house. It was this beautiful coach house. We're like, oh my God, maybe I loved him. I don't know. It was a fantastic experience. I didn't want to let it go. Neither did he. So emotions have no place in business. Data makes decisions, unless, however, unless you're doing business with emotions. So Andrew and I decided that we loved what we were doing, and we clearly made a bad decision with our emotions there. So we have no more money. What are we going to do? But also stay true to who we are. So we still wanted to get into the real estate game. We still wanted to be real estate barons. We realized that we fall in love with something really easily, and we made a horrible decision from a business perspective by using our emotions. So emotions are really powerful. So we launched a construction company with the intention of helping our homeowners find their happiness. That's what we would always say. So our entire sales process was, what's going to make you happy? And the truth is, it worked. We built a great business. We were building homes. Our families loved us. We loved our jobs. We were building gorgeous homes. Like this one in particular is like my favorite one I ever did. The architect was a genius. The designer was amazing. The homeowner just like rolled the dice. Like they did crazy stuff in this house, and it was gratifying and inspiring to be a part of it. It was a perfect house. It was stunning, and it was beautiful. But the thing is, it's really hard to keep a house beautiful. Like houses need to be managed constantly. There needs regular maintenance and repair. Think of your teeth. If you never touch them, they're gonna fall out. We were giving people the keys to their homes. 5 years later, big problems started to happen. And I was thinking to myself, what am I doing wrong? How am I not giving the homeowners this information that they need to be the best at managing their homes? And then I realized, maybe they shouldn't be managing their homes. They don't know what they're doing. They're experts at their day jobs. They're not really experts at managing a home. And then I started thinking, who's really good at managing a home? And I'm scratching my head. I'm like, I can manage a home. I don't want to. I want to build them. But who's there in the world that knows how to manage a home? Alfred sure as fuck knows how to manage a home. He's managing 10 mansions for Bruce Wayne all across the world, building cars. This guy's amazing. But he's in the luxury market. Like he's wearing a tux. Come on. So I'm thinking, the top 1%, super luxury world, has a home manager. They're managing their properties. I'm like, okay, I'm not working with the 1%. I'm not up there. It's not going to happen. Forget the idea. But then, at the same time as this is happening, a really interesting app launched in Toronto. It's called Uber. You might have heard of it. Small company from San Francisco. They launched, and it's fascinating to me. Like, I don't know if you guys remember when Uber launched out. Their tagline was everyone's private driver, and they would send a limousine to your house or wherever you are, and you just click a couple buttons on your app. And I was like, wait a second. These guys are doing kind of what I want to do. They're taking a luxury product. They're making it accessible to people like me. I'm in my 20s, and all of a sudden I'm taking Uber Black. It's like 20, 30% more expensive, but it was literally impossible to get a cab back then. I'm sure all of you remember. So as I'm thinking about it, all of a sudden the clouds parted. The sun came through. The angels started to sing. There was music. It was amazing. I was like, wait a second. Luxury app, everyone's private driver. Simple. I'm going to be a luxury app, and I'm going to be everyone's home manager. No problem. All I need to do is build an app. So easy. Everyone in here, simple to build an app. You just go out and you do it. That is not true. That is not true at all. One does not simply build an app. Lord of the Rings reference, by the way. This is Boromir. He fucked up too. One does not simply build an app. This is 2 minutes? Okay. I'll move forward. Mistakes in the app. I burnt a shitload of money. I basically spent my life savings on this app. I got exactly what I asked for, not what I needed. It was absolutely hubris. I was being a hypocrite to like my ethos. I'm being like, only hire the experts. I was telling my homeowners, hire me. I'm a general contractor. I'm an expert. I'm a subject matter expert in this. I'm going to build your home. Trust me. And then the hubris comes in because, oh, as a side gig to my regular business, I'm just going to build an app with zero experience whatsoever with technology. So I was an absolute hypocrite to myself. I lost a ton of money, completely devastated. I was depressed. It was an awful experience, and totally embarrassed. My head's literally Picard right here. This was my life. And then, but I just couldn't let it go. And I was just thinking to myself, wait a second. Wait a second, what did I do wrong here? And I was like, you know what, I am a hypocrite. But what am I a hypocrite about? I'm a hypocrite about not having the expertise involved that's required. So I was like, wait a second, all I need to do is know that I suck at certain things and then fill the gaps. I missed a slide, so I fucked up again. So filling the gaps, my gaps turned out to be, I needed a co-founder. And then I basically wrote down on a piece of paper everything I suck at, everything I did wrong, and what do I need? And it turns out I needed a computer science expert, happened to be from Harvard, went through Y Combinator, incredible incubator, and he understood tech and he understood the startup world and exponential growth. Flew out to meet Guillaume, and together, like very much a yin and yang situation, subject matter expertise and everything required to create our business. Moving forward, it's been a great 2 years, a lot of lessons, a lot of opportunities, but the two things that I think that I learned the most out of this experience was you're shitting yourself if you think that if you're going to half-ass something really big and only give it 25% of your effort, it's going to happen. It was really, I totally fucked up. I did not commit to the idea. I just threw money at it and expected that to work. I didn't commit, so I challenge everybody here, if there is an idea, minimum take 2 weeks of just absolute focus. Try it out, see if you have exponential growth in 2 weeks. That was a huge mistake. And the second mistake is you don't need to recreate the wheel. You don't even need to speak to other people. There is so much knowledge out there. There are so many incredible people that have figured out and fucked up all over the place. If I had read this book 4 years ago, I would absolutely never in a million years have developed a product. I would have just got customers. Traction before a product. There's a fine balance, chicken or the egg situation. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers.
That was awesome. David, thank you so much for sharing your fuck-ups and the lessons. I know it was a lot of money that you lost there, so thank you for sharing it and being so open. So now we're going to open it up to Q&A. So as you guys ask your questions, please try to keep the question itself brief so that we can get through as many as possible. And we'll kick it off. Who wants to ask our first question? All right, I see one over there.
Hello.
What does Settar do?
Settar is, I'm really glad you asked. Settar is a virtual property management and concierge service to take care of your home so you don't have to. So I used to build homes, and now I take care of them through an app with a click of a button. I don't like saying Uber for your home, but similar kind of thing.
You're saying if I've got a clogged sink, I can just go onto an app.
If you have a clogged sink, you want a new sink, you want a backsplash, you want a countertop, you need a new roof, your car detailed, Settar will take care of your life so that you can focus on what you're best at and you can allocate your resources towards that.
How much does it cost to use Settar?
It is whatever the cost of goods sold is. So it's like if it's $150 to fix a sink or it's 10 grand for a new roof, it really depends on what you ask for, but we're competitive at market. But fundamentally, similar to the Uber analogy, I believe in value over cost. And I believe that the commoditization of an industry is a race to the bottom to benefiting no one. So that's my cost thing. But we're competitive at a market level.
Hi, David. What was the component of the first app that you launched that failed? Was it the user research? Was it the
So it was so simple. It wasn't a native app. It was like I needed to be connected to the internet. And as I'm going through people's homes, archiving and collecting the data so that I can then be proactive and predictive for them, I just couldn't use it. Like, it was just, I couldn't connect to the internet at all times, and it was miserable to use, and it was taking me 5 hours to archive a home when now it takes 45 minutes. It was the stupidest thing. But I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Here. Two-part question. One is, what happened to the first house? And second, look, you're stunned, right? Second question is, what did you learn through the process of picking different partners that you would tell people here about picking a great co-founder?
Wow. So two-part question, two-part answer. The first house that Andrew and I bought, we did eventually sell after 5 years. We waited to the end of the mortgage and we couldn't get the tenant out, blah, blah, blah. Used that to buy a couple more, sold those, start Settar specifically. And when you're looking for a partner, you know, I'll say right now, look for MacGyver. Look for someone who can troubleshoot their way out of any problem, who you know, here you go, this is a you problem, and you know it's going to be solved. A generalist, but like kind of a MacGyver, really. That's what I'm looking for.
Hey, so as far as your last partner, you said his name was Alex?
Andrew.
Andrew, sorry, my bad.
We're still in an office together, by the way. Yeah, he builds homes, and now we take care of them.
Okay, I was just going to ask.
Okay, so you mentioned that family-style meals make you very aggressive.
Yeah.
How do you channel that aggression? Like, what exactly happens when you sit down at the family table? Do you just break out in rage?
So, I mean, you should ask Steph. She's here right now. She's my girlfriend. When you go to a Steckel family dinner, it's like, it is just, there's loud noises, people are moving very quickly, distracting, trying to get to it. It's just, you just have to be louder, and you just have to get it first, or maybe there won't be anything left.
Makes sense, makes sense.
I'm teasing. My family's wonderful.
Okay, so we'll do one last question. We'll cap it off at that one.
How much money did you lose? What was the number?
So I lost $100,000. Yeah. But at the same time, it was a forced investment into my future. And, you know, Settar recently raised, you know, $10 million from Sequoia Capital, the #1 VC in the world. So that was a great investment, I think. And that is a great time to close. It's an opportunity. Thank you.
Amazing. I'm really glad somebody asked that question. Thank you. I didn't want to be the one to do it. So let's give another round of applause for David. That was incredible.